Hey, how's it hanging? Welcome back to the ESL Pro League for North America. Our second and final matchup here of this matchup, and our final matchup of the night is about to get started here in just a moment. Once again, Splyce versus AGG. We almost saw AGG steal that match away from Splyce. However, they were able to round it back on their CT side as we got towards the end of the second half, and they closed things out quite nicely. So now we're going to jump over onto Inferno, of course. My name is Blue. Joining me this evening is Mega Man, so let's talk a little bit about this matchup.
Yeah, so like you said, AGG, they look like they had it. They look like they'd figured out the formula on their T side of Dust too, and unfortunately they just weren't able to close it out. They ended up losing a couple of rounds in a row, and then it just looked like they were deflated, weren't really able to get themselves back into it on their T side, or maybe Splyce just figured out something and started to work them hard on that aspect. So again, 16-12, that's not a bad loss. I mean, it's close. That's a decent loss there for the AGG side. It's just a matter of how are they going to bounce back into this matchup? What are they going to bring to the table? And, obviously picking up a knife round here, or at least whoever picks up the knife round here, would be a pretty massive thing because that's going to dictate the pace right off the bat. You want that coveted CT side on Inferno. You want to be able to start off on the preferred side. And golden opportunity right here for one of these two teams to get that good starting side.
And we are going into the knife round now, guys. So with it being Inferno, very, very important, of course. And they're just going to have a bit of a standoff here in mid before they go at each other. So
did he just moon them?
I think Davey just
I think Davey just mooned them.
All right, apparently you can do that.
And then now you got the brawl going down. Oh! Abe trying to juke him by killing his teammate, and half of them felt really funny. So AGG win the knife round. They're going to get the opportunity to start on the CT side, which they will definitely take, and see if they can start off with the pistol. Excuse me, pistol round
right
victory.
there.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Cigar, cigarette?
No, I'm just choking on my own oxygen intake, I guess.
All right, so let's go into the game, guys.
Breathing's hard.
Once again, Splyce versus AGG. With the guys on Splyce starting off on the T side and AGG starting off on the CT side. AGG may yet have a chance to steal away at least one map from these guys this evening if they can start off strong on the CT side, but we have seen issues in the past for CT teams here, especially the lower tier of Pro League. So it's going to start off with a quick push up and out of there, a 1-for-1 trade. Professor Chaos finding a second one, but Twist as well is able to pick up a 1-for-1. Not too good for the CTs though, as they have to rotate in for May, and not only this too, but they're working with a man disadvantage here. However, they do have the factor that Davey has to rotate all the way from A, and he's pretty far away right now, but I don't think they realize this as of yet, as now Invert is going to get taken down by Professor Chaos, and Ocean is going to have to work this 1v2.
And Ocean trying to come around. He's not going to get it done. Professor Chaos picks up 3 kills, 2 of which I believe were with 4 HP. So nice looks there from the Splyce side, and that's a great way to start off this matchup, picking up the pistol round.
And of course, they're going to build on this immediately by investing actually a lot heavier this time into the SMGs than we were seeing back on Dust 2. We saw, assuming it was them that won that first pistol round back there as well, they went almost immediately for like 4 rifles or something like that. So this time, I'm going to take it a little bit more leisurely with the SMGs. Hopefully picking up a couple kills against the CTs, but AGG have gone for a pretty good force here as well. 5-7 armor buys across most of the board here. Invert does go for a Deagle and Twist with the CZ, and we've already seen him do some work with this. He's going to play an aggressive position over here in the tree cubby, so maybe he might be able to trade out a couple kills.
We'll have to see here. Little Deagle action going on down here in Banana. Outstaying his welcome, but Twist is in a great position. He's going to pounce actually a little bit early. Invert's going to be able to find one, so it's a 2-for-2 trade on Banana, but the rotation is going to have to come in, and that bomb is working back towards the A bomb site, so not necessarily reading this wrong. Well, Els is going to dedicate a little bit over towards that B bomb site, but he's going to work his way back over here to Arches. Davey coming up through the apartments. Professor Chaos and Jason R. They've smoked over the top side of mid. And now they're going to have to make something happen here as they're blindly spamming through the smoke. Not going to be able to connect, and Davey's already up on truck side. Els should be a sitting duck, and he exactly is. So, going to be a really tough spot. Ruru goes down. Ocean, your last man standing. He's got a 5-7, so might be able to make something work. Could salvage a gun here at the bottom side of Banana, and he does just that at UMP, which he could do a little bit of damage with.
Ocean's gone to the junkyard to look for some guns, and he's found one. So now he's got to keep himself alive. And the rest of Splyce, actually being pretty passive about this. I don't think they fully realize that he's moved out to look for that gun, or that he's even picked it up. So They're still sitting on the A bomb site. Apologies. Ocean is still in a position though to where they actually should be able to find him if they just go directly down mid. We have one of the guys doing it now, Jason R, but I still don't think they're expecting to find him this far out from the B bomb site. They were expecting him to be camping in there, so he's able to steal away at least one kill. Now he's got to hightail it back. They're hiding in the tree cubby once more, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to get close enough. So he will save this. He will save this UMP for the next round.
And that could be a factor, man. He could definitely do a little bit of damage with that in this round, so we'll see where they decide to send him with it, because he was over at the B-bomb site at the end of that last round off of that rotation, off losing 2 members down Banana. This time around, he's going to go back towards the B-bomb site, and it looks like they're going to play a little bit heavier over here. They've got 3 CTs that are going to be taking up this position over at B, so it'll be interesting. He does have the head armor, so aim punch isn't going to be a factor, and that UMP with the armor penetration should be able to do some work over here.
The rest of AGG just holding back here. Twists, this is actually, I really like what they're doing with Twists and Ocean right now. They're basically trying to do like a trick play, and that if they took down Twists first, then Ocean would be a bit of a surprise pop out, and he could find two like, you know, at least 2 kills there just off of the pure surprise factor. Unfortunately, Splyce are going to go for a pretty direct take towards the A-bomb site, so it's all going to be for a bit of a waste as they start to push themselves in. Surprise partially by that push outside of Arches. Professor Chaos ends up taking down Abe on accident, so they will lose one of the T's at the very least here, but they still get themselves onto the A-bomb site with a good amount of control. However, Davian Boiler, he gets dinked down to 12 HP, so he's actually going to run. He's not able to just completely dispatch the party that's sitting over here by the porch area. Arya finishing off one of them, able to take down Invert. Now it's just down to Ruru and Twist. We did see Ruru finishing off Davy. Now Arya's moving in for the killing blows here. Doesn't realize that Twist had pushed all the way over to the Boiler steps, so he's able to pick up another kill. He's shot down pretty low. Keep in mind, no armor, so it's going to be very hard to find this clutch. But he's just hopping around here, hoping to get a good position against some of these players to take them down. But what the hell is he shooting at there? Nothing, apparently, as Jason R will be eliminating him to end it now. 3-0 for Splyce to start things off.
You probably assumed that that player in pit was further back in pit. He saw that flashbang come out from sight, so he's probably just trying to pre-fire into sight and see if he could pick up anything. But not too bad of an eco round there from AGG. They only survived with 2 guns on the Splyce side, but it was 2 rifles, so that's not too bad for them either. They're going to go on to the 4 AK-1 Galil buy. It's our first full gun round of the half. We'll see if AGG can continue to put some kills on the board, maybe steal a couple of rounds away, start building up that momentum. But look at how fast-paced this strat is up. Arya already on truck side finds 1. Jason R cleans out L's, and it's gone to shit real fast here for the CT side.
So now Ocean's just going to fall back away from the A-bomb site completely. That's already the save call. This is where it's going to be very crucial for AGG to try to get as much intel early on in the round as possible, because these kinds of hits is what is absolutely going to destroy AGG if these keep working as powerful as they did in this round here. If Splyce is allowed to just push with all 5 players into a bomb site and is not punished for it at all, or if they don't scout it and properly start to rotate from the alternate site in time, then AGG are constantly just going to be in this infinite cycle of going for saves back and forth. Invert's looking to do some damage before he goes down, and he does. Finds a 1-for-1 trade, but Splyce already know they've fallen back to save. This is so typical at this point of these North American matchups. So the final 2 are stuck in construction. It's going to be a little bit harder to take them down, but Splyce is moving in now to try to eliminate them.
Twist trades out. Davey drops him. Davey does survive at the end of the round, and they do carry 1 M4 at least into the next round. So, interestingly enough, AGG kind of reeling right now. They don't want to give up any more rounds to Splyce, but they have to save one. So this is a really tough spot for him. Splyce looking to go up 5-0. And having a big terrorist side half on a map like Inferno could be very detrimental here to Team AGG. Not really sure. They had a lot of struggle. Yeah, I did. They had a lot of struggle. Dude, I'm dying.
You having a drink there, Mega Man?
I'm having a rough night. I drank some water and then I hiccuped. It was great.
All right, so Splyce now with the lead here and looking to grow it even more so, of course, because AGG unfortunately wasn't really able to save all that much in that last round anyway. They've only got Ocean with the rifle. They've already lost Twist because of his aggressive push. He's gone down. The rest of the CT's just trying to spread themselves out. And Splyce, of course, is just going to play this very slowly here in hopes that they don't run into any sort of cheeky setups from the CTs that could surprise them and lead to a couple guns being dropped.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 2 players over here, this double pit kind of deal. L's just peeking a cheeky angle here in apartments, and then they had Invert with the deagle over there by pit, but Jason R gearing up to come up mid. Arya is joining him up here at the top side by bench. They're going to move on up, and Invert, well, he's not even going to get a shot off. Arya is going to take him down. Now the rep comes around onto the arch side, and they should momentarily noticed that this is going to be a pretty wide open A bomb site to take.
Now Splyce just walks right into it, essentially. Els might be able to surprise. However, as soon as they get themselves into their post plants, they're going to have somebody with eyes over there towards the balcony. And Els probably picked the worst possible time to peek. Because it was just as Jason R was getting himself in his graveyard position, so he saw that coming from a mile away. Els gets taken out before he can even run. In the final two, there's not a whole lot for them to do. So Ruru is outside of Arches watching for the push from there. And Ocean will be watching to see if anybody's going to try and exit through library.
Ocean needs to save this gun right here. This is a must save. They need to start building up economy on the CT side. And, I mean, he has to hold on to this. They need to get an op in the hands of Invert or Twist. He's going to be able to find one. Drops down, playing a little bait and switch. A little shuck and jive there, and he's going to find a second one. So, at least he does slight economical damage. But the big thing about it now is look at the money on the T side. I mean, Davey had the MAC-10 carried over into the next round, but decides to drop it and go for the AK, considering it's going to be a full buy. And now we see the op coming out for Invert. So they dropped it over to him. I believe that was either Twist or Els that bought that up. Maybe it was Ocean that bought it up. He spent $5,800 into the round, so I think it was Ocean that actually dropped that.
And Splyce off to actually a roaring start here too now. Money's not necessarily super secure. We've got a couple guys that have been surviving through multiple rounds, and they're sitting at, like Jason R is sitting at 10.3k, and you've got Davey sitting at 6.9, but the rest are actually pretty low. 2.2k, 3.4k, and Abe sitting at 3.9k. It's enough for Forces if they do finally drop around on those players, and they're going to get at least one full buy. But probably not the best sentence there, but they're going to get at least one full buy out of it. However, after that, of course, after that, of course, it's a bit of a redundant word to use there. After that, of course, they'll probably have to go for just the upgraded pistols and whatnot. So that's the one saving grace that AGG still have here, is they have prevented Splyce from building up a massive economy, and they have been trading pretty consistently. They just have not been able to win one of these holds as of yet. So again, it's going to be this all-in hit from Splyce, and this is where AGG need to spot it early. Otherwise, if it goes successfully and they find their first couple of entries, AGG are going to have to save once more. But they spot it this time. There's a good molly that's applied, and now they can get these rotations in quickly.
Yeah, that puts a little pressure on that rotation. That molly does dissipate. 1 HP left on Arya at the beginning of this round, so not really sure what tagged him up so severely. Maybe it was the Molotov damage that came out. Oh, if Invert timed that flash perfectly, but he's going to peek on out, and they actually do catch Arya out. It's trades across the board, 3 for 1 or 3 for 2 right now, and it favors the AGG side. Make that Ruru taking down Davey, and it's all left on Abe with 6 HP. 25 seconds on the clock. He's stuck in the back of the site. Not really going to be able to do too terribly much in the rest of this round. Flashbang comes out around the corner, not going to catch him out, and now he's going to take the fight with Ruru, and he's going to lose that battle. So 3 kills on the round for Ruru, and AGG is going to finally be on the board, but it's 5-1, and Splyce has enough for another buy, even without that bomb plant. And if they reset Team AGG right here, this is going to be really painful.
Yep, so one more full investment, as we were talking about before, from Splyce, but this is also a point now where they need to be cautious of them actually getting reset themselves, because they're still working with the uneven economy, and you've only got 2 players in good enough positions to go for another buy after this round, but their losing bonus is starting to build up. AGG also, with them making out of it with 3 players alive, can still afford a very full investment. Invert's going to take some heat early on, though. Running through that wall as he falls back to the B-bomb side, he's dropped into 39 HP, so got to be cautious. Also, Splyce taking very early control of the long hauls. There's going to be a good nade tossed in, should be able to do some damage. And in fact, it does bring Professor Chaos down to 51, but barely taps Davey. Only brings him down to 91. Els does spot the push coming, takes down Davey. Without any utility to support that, he's just going to be wide out in the open. But Professor Chaos behind him does roll out, gets himself in a pit, and finds a trade.
And this is a really strong position for Professor Chaos to be in. He doesn't need to throw away his life right now. He can let his team work this. They've pulled the rotation off of that B-bomb site too, so they've only got 1 player to contend with over in that area. Smokes go down, so they're going to cordon off these 2 players. Ocean's not going to be useful over in that cubby, and neither is the op of Invert that's over here by Moto. It's all going to fall to Ruru. He's going to be able to find the first one. Looking for more, but he can't get it done. And now Ocean, big flank play, and he finds 2. Big play from Ocean, and it's all down to Abe. He's going to get the bomb plant, so they're putting more money in the bank. But again, what can he do from this position? He's going to isolate the 1v1. Invert around the corner. He's not going to let him get away. Nice op shot, a flick of the wrist, and a defuse for him. So 2 rounds now for AGG.
And with the second round being picked up, of course, AGG now have a good chance to swing themselves back to this game and splice together, ironically enough, the usage of that word, no pun intended, bring themselves with a couple rounds together now. As Splyce, actually no, it looks like Splyce is going to force up again, so actually able to get pretty much all rifles too, so good economy management by Splyce, as they're actually going to be able to get all 5 AKs and a decent utility stack, so I underestimated the amount of money they still had left. They're still able to get one more full buy here, so AGG are not necessarily out of hot water just as of yet.
That bomb plan helped a lot getting them into this gun round. Molotov over to the boiler side stairs. Davy's going to take a battle, but he's not accounting for Ruru to come up and peek. Ruru's playing very, very well right now. He's 7-5, leading the way for the AGG side, but we've seen him stepping up in a couple of different facets in the last matchup, and it's good to see him performing again on this map as well.
Jason are in that position inside of the apartments now. He's going to be pretty lonesome here, but could have a very big impact in just trying to keep the players here on the A-bomb site, with the rest of the team getting ready to go for a B hit. The B hit too, they are ready for it too. They've got a cross spray lined up. Invert's position may not be the best because there's almost always going to be a smoke tossed over here, as we can see it thrown in now. He's going to get smoked off. He can see it coming from a mile away, but there's an early peek, and it actually does surprise him a little bit. There's some good damage that's tossed onto him. Invert is given enough time to throw the molly on the floor though, and this molly holds back Splyce for a few extra moments. The CT's trying to get themselves up close and in position to stop this hit from happening, and it is doing its job, but Abe catches Invert through the smoke, takes him down with a headshot, and now this take is definitely going to be on, but a lot of time's been wasted, so at the very least they're going to get Ocean here on the rotate.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. They've got support for Twist now, but he's going to find the first one. Wide peeks out, and Professor Chaos punishes, but Ocean is there. He only gets one for his trouble, so it's going to be down to a 2v2. Jason R and Professor Chaos on the site right now, and it's going to be Ruru and Els to try to rotate back in. And oh, did Ruru not spot him? He's going to take the gunfight anyway, and Professor Chaos is going to capitalize. And now it's just down to Els. What can he do? There's one in Emo, and there's one sitting in water. They haven't even planted the bomb yet. They finally get that bomb planted. He's going to try to peek on out, and they double peek him. Professor Chaos again with a triple on the round, and it comes at the B bomb site. That's twice now that we've seen him get a 3K over at B. And there's the hard reset that we were talking about. They're going to force up behind this on the CT side.
They've got enough to go for this force up though, because again it was uneven. So Twist had like 7.2k. He can drop a rifle for Ocean, I do believe. Yeah, so they're gonna be able to get him a rifle. So it's still a full rifle buy for the AGG guys. It's just gonna be a little bit more limited on utility, of course, because the CTs cost way more money to go for their full buys compared to the Ts. However, Abe did buy a Mac 10, so I think they are expecting an eco here, which means we're probably gonna see fairly slow play from Splyce. And unless AGG gives away the fact that they did go for a buy early on, then they might execute a little bit too late here. However, I think with the utility that's been used early on by the CTs, this might be the telling signal that they have gone for the buy.
Could be. Could very well be. So we'll have to see. Oh! Well, Professor Chaos tried to throw the bomb over to Aria when he was jumping up on top of the hay cart, but Noodle Arms didn't quite get it to him, so he's going to be forced to carry that for a little while longer. Nice flash up mid, though. Oh, Jason R finds two. Aria with the trade. Ruru chimed in, but immediately, look at that. Invert and Twist falling back into the back of the B-bomb site. This is a round for Splyce. Just like that.
I think it was Els that was playing up the position on Porsche. For whatever reason, it did not get communicated to him that the hit was on, and he was actually like looking at the wall, and he only turned just as he started getting fired out there. His reaction time was way too slow. And he got absolutely destroyed there when he should have been the player that was in a position at the very least find a trade. That didn't even happen. Didn't even get a single kill up there. So unfortunately, the guys on Splyce, that's that big problem again, is those all-in hits. If they find their first entries and you do not trade, they're going to be way too successful. You saw one of the gun rounds that AGG did win was when they actually were able to hold off that initial push with the well-played Somali, along with finding a couple trades here and there. So unfortunately, that doesn't happen this time, and Splyce, their take was perfectly, so they immediately win the round off of the merit of that.
And they're going to hunt for these guns.
Inferno can be a very volatile map, especially for the teams that haven't been together for a very long time, because it demands very on-point CT communication and a very good read of what your opponent is doing. These like mid to low tier North American teams aren't really able to do that well on the CT side, so oftentimes you see them struggle like they're doing now. It's actually not that uncommon to see the Ts leading like this.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things right there. I mean, I watched it again as it came up on the stream, but Els was the one that was up on top of the porch, and he was playing the counter flash. He was playing the position properly. He just didn't account for them to put 3 guns in their face that fast up mid. 1 peek from Boiler, and 2 came up mid really, really quickly on him. and he just got overwhelmed immediately, especially with his one player that was playing underneath the porch getting overwhelmed and taken down immediately into the round. So really a brutal strat up mid, and Splyce has been exploiting this time and time again. We saw it with the in round 4, the first real big full gun round that came out was an extremely fast hit. Arya leading the push all the way up mid. They catch Ruru out and transferring between site and truck, and pretty much that's the round right there. This time around, they go for the stack on top of porch on the AGG side. It gets snuffed out immediately, and all 3 of the players, they played a triple truck side, which is a great counter to the strat that came out. It's just that they didn't have the timing down for it, and they get washed out for it. So immediately call on the save, and there you go. AGG probably taking a tactical timeout right now, and I can't say that I blame them. 7 rounds for Splyce. They're 1 round away from at least winning the half and putting up a tremendous terrorist side half. This is very different look than what they had on Dust 2.
This is always a very interesting point to take a pause, specifically for CTs too, because they're going to be saving this round regardless. It would be very unwise for them to force an investment, considering that they're already building up a losing bonus here, so saving just this 1 round with the average total floating around 2k is going to give them enough to go for a buy on the next one. So what this means is that they're doing this thing where they like there's probably a much more loose calling strategy right now for AGG and their comms, so they're probably making up the plan for the next round now, and then they're going to let it sink in this round, so in case anybody has any problems with it, they can contest it now. But the problem with that is that by actually leaving more time for you to think of things that you don't like about the plan, it's often going to lead to people being sort of uneasy about the plan, because they will have more time to think, okay, maybe I don't like this facet of it, or maybe I don't like the fact that I'm being told to play this position. So considering that, oftentimes, if the team is not as well rehearsed on these, then someone may be more prone to disobey the orders of the IGL and sort of go off, which could screw over the team on that execution. So it's always a little bit risky to do it on the round before, just because that indecision can come into play. But anyway, it is going to be a save now from AGG. We are on pause, so let's get back into it.
Yeah, and it's actually curious, you know, we kind of chimed in a little bit on that first map as to the impact that Els was having, not just in the rifle rounds, but in the pistol rounds, the save rounds that they had to go through. And this time around, he's off to a really slow start, 1, 3, and 9. So not nearly having as much impact as he had on Dust 2 earlier. And this time around, it's pretty prevalent as to why they're down 2 and 7. They're just not performing so well here on the CT side for AGG. And again, it comes down to that same thing that you were talking about before, communication. I mean, it's so crucial on a map like Inferno, because the rotation from A to B is not the shortest rotation in the game. You know, it's not like an overpass rotation where you can be in that bomb site in 10 seconds flat.
And now to start it off, of course, we did see Twist taking a little bit of damage from the Molly there, down to 80 HP, so nothing significant. But nonetheless, it did force him away from his position, so the players on AGG might be a little bit unsure of what exactly is going to be thrown their way now. They do have the bomb sitting back. Splyce is mainly just, again, the passive setup, which is oftentimes comes hand in hand with the CTs being on an eco. They've managed to read this properly, so they're just moving in slowly, just in case they can find these players out in the open and try to surprise them, so they can check all these angles and whatnot too. It's going to be a very slow sight take. However, if you run into the rifle, which is where that slow take unfortunately loses a lot of its heat. We do see it traded out though after he picks up 1 kill. Arya is able to shut down Twist, and Ruru is not in a spot to where he can move out and pick that up. There's too much pressure coming in towards the site. They did call for a rotate on Ocean, but the other 2 are still sitting on this A bomb site. They've just now been called away. This is happening far too late though. Ruru is sitting back over here in Garden. He's not able to do anything about this right now, and he's still only got that USP. Was not able to retrieve the M4. The other 2 players, they're not even going to get here in time. Like, there's no way this retake is happening. These guys now have to be posting up for exits, but they can't even do that because they gave them so much time that Davey just went back over here on towards Banana and was able to put him in a position with the op. So now he's going to stop these players even from pushing up there, and it's just down to Els.
Yeah, and he's on T-ramp. Davey's kind of honed in on his position right now, and they really shouldn't let him get away with anything in this round. He's probably not even going to get this pick. It looks like he's antsy to try to peek out there and try to find a shot. And Davey's just trying to bait him in with the op shots. And there you go. Professor Chaos should be able to clean him up, but he does. So another round on the board here for Splyce. It's 8-2, and a really tremendous terrorist side performance from them so far. And if they can continue to roll on their T side, this could get wildly out of hand for AGG. It's already a little out of hand, but it could get wild.
Els is also having a pretty rough game himself too. He was able to keep up with his teammates much better in the last matchup. This time he's sitting at 1 and 10. So he's only found 1 frag so far out of the total of 10 rounds that have been played out so far. But Splyce off to the big lead. We do see another buy round coming out here from AGG, and they are trying to get a little bit more aggressive on that CT side. You can see the position, the forward position being played up by Ruru, and they've also got Ocean just around the ramp side. So this isn't a proactive attempt to stop these all-in hits from happening so successfully, but nonetheless, Splyce is lining up for another one. They do have a player sitting back at Crossroads watching out for a push on Banana in case the CTs wanted to get really crazy aggressive, but now they're getting ready to throw in their nades to go for the A hit.
And again, it's going to be Els up here to defend the halls. Jason R is going to be taking a look at this very, very soon. He's creeping up the stairs. He's going to take the shoulder peek. He probably spotted him. I don't know if Els actually saw anything, but Ocean goes down. Arya is going to be able to open up, and that's going to leave them open and very vulnerable to this wrap that's coming into the site. They've got so many players that are going to be throwing bodies at him, and Arya is going to capitalize, finds that first one. Ruru worked his way back around towards the apartments. He's going to sneak out and finds the bomb carrier, but it's all too little too late. Professor Chaos trades him. Davey drops Invert, and Twist is going to be our last man standing over here by the library in a 1 versus 4. Probably not much he can do this round.
Yep, he's just sitting hoping somebody comes around Rap side to investigate library, and that he can line up a headshot onto them. They know he's in there too. They just threw an HE, taking a guess at it. Ari actually may go investigating in a second. No, he's going down towards the middle, so actually they don't exactly 100% know he's sitting inside of the library just as of yet. But, unfortunately for Twist, it doesn't look like anybody's really going to go for the exit there either. However, we do see Professor Chaos coming out and around it now. Spotted Twist, but Twist misses the connection to take him down on the first attempt. Professor Chaos is going to move out through arches, going for the hunt. It's hoping Twist has moved down a little bit more, but that's not the case. And Twist does hold his own initially, takes down Professor Chaos, but now with only 29 HP, he does have to run to make sure he survives.
And he should get out of this with the rifle, and that's not a bad save, but again, AGG, 4 in a row that they've lost now. I mean, it was 5 in a row at the beginning. They strung a couple rounds together. They've lost 4 in a row this time around. They're not going to have the money to really go for too terribly heavy of an investment. You can see a Mag 7, a couple of FAMASes or Clarions, and another M4 in the hands of Invert, who did have a decent amount of money, so he's got a good buy behind it, but I mean, the lack of utility. They have 3 smokes, they've got a couple of flashes, but now you can see Twist just going to get super hyper aggressive along with Invert, and that's the 2 main firepower rifles down. Ruru, he's going to be the last one alive over here by Sandbags. Able to clean out Abe, but I mean, it's still only a 2-for-1 trade.
And now he's got 2 mollies on top of him, so he's got to move out, but still fragging. Manages to pick up Davey, and then Arya, although he's still in that fire. A little bit careful your position there, Ruru. He's done his job that he needs to. He's brought this down to a 2 versus 2, and he has bomb control, but now there's a lot of smokes coming in from the T's. They're going to try to overwhelm things back over here. Jason R picks up the bomb, but Ruru can hear him, so he is able to grab him before he successfully falls back, and they retain their bomb control. And Professor Chaos, he's on the other side of the map, but still a minute left on the clock. He can absolutely clutch this if he gets himself over there in time.
And that's just a silly round from Ruru. I mean, 4 kills. He's looking for an ace now. Professor Chaos doesn't have a molly or a nade to kind of get them out of position. So we'll see if he's going to be able to really do anything. There's the spot from Ocean. There's the peek from Ruru. Ruru goes down. Now Ocean tries to take the peek. And that's a little foolish.
Ruru has to be mad now because he did all that work.
All that work for nothing.
Like, the worst part about it, too, is that no one else on his team was able to... Like, there was a lot of combat that happened towards mid and whatnot in that round, and none of them were able to find even one more kill that would have been able to close that round out. So, unfortunately, for the guys on AGG, Splyce still continuing to win out here. Now up to 10-2, and AGG are just forcing up because they need to try and find some rounds here as we're coming close to the end of the half. 2-10 is not satisfactory at all. They need to try and stack up at least... at least 2 more here to try to make this a bit more of a contest heading into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even going to be feasible going into the second half with only 2 rounds. Even if they win out the half, I mean, to get 5 rounds, that's still just a tremendous mountain to climb going into this next half.
And now to start up this one, Splyce pushing themselves up Banana. They've got a good assortment of players lined up and actually ready to go in for a very quick execute. And they're going to attempt to do it. They catch Invert relocating, but he is able to find at least a 1-for-1 trade there. The pop flash rolls out, and it's great. Twist finds the kill on Professor Chaos. Knows Abe is on top of the wheelbarrow there. Nicely done with his knowledge. Able to take down Abe. Now just 2 left alive for the T's, but they're going for an A hit inside of Boiler. They don't spot Ruru initially. Davey is able to recover, but at a very heavy cost. He's down at 2 HP. Els peeks out in the balcony, takes down Davey. Jason R moving in, swapping out the guns, trying to find the positioning of Els, but he can't grab it, and now it's going to fall back, but Els is striking back. He's got Jason R down to 62. He's trying to find a way into this site, but he's giving the CTs too much room to maneuver. Ocean's going to peek out from the site, takes down Jason R, and AGG finally finally do pick up another round.
Much needed. But the worst part about this would be a round loss right here, and they would be broke as a joke for the final round. I mean, you can see they're buying down. They had to drop another rifle over. I mean, the investment is heavy. Els is going to be the only one with any kind of money going into the final round. That's just going to be really, really tough for him. But see if they're going to be able to pick up 2 in a row here, maybe 3 in a row to try to close out the round, or close out the half with the 10-5. But again, like I said, if Splyce resets them here, that is going to be detrimental to them.
And the push coming out from Splyce now. They are going to go for an early peek back over here towards the mid choke point. Els is able to spot some of them there, investigating things. Not a whole lot of damage, though, going on to Davey. Doesn't really connect all that well, so Davey's going to go for the peek. As they threw that molly to force Ocean out of the cubby, all they do successfully manage to connect is that molly damage, and Ruru finds a hit on the Davey, too, when he re-peeks things out from the mid-choke point. So AGG are off to a good hold here on the A-bomb site, but the pressure has just barely started here, and Professor Chaos will be able to find that trade on the Els, but now he's kind of stuck, because there's another player on Rap side looking to peek him. Oh, takes him down, too, though, so good recovery from PC.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's a 2-for-1 swing, and the Splyce boys are going to be back in the driver's seat. And Aria?
All right.
Give me the bomb, Professor Chaos! You're doing it wrong!
That's confidence in its most raw form right there.
I have no idea what that was. But Twist's going to get over-aggressive at the B-bomb site and throws his life away. So now Splyce, even with that TK, are going to be in a solid position to clutch it out. So GG no re.
Absolutely. But AGG are finally going to go for a retake here, since it is palpable with one of the teammates getting knifed. Splyce gave a little bit of a handicap this time around. But as they work their way in here, still not a whole lot of room to maneuver with. And Jason R is getting aggressive. Ocean did find the opening kill, and Ruru finds a second. Shuts out Abe and Aria. Now it's on Jason R. He does have it planted for him in that position there. Picks up the first kill, looking for the second by the fountain, but Ruru needs to respond to this quickly. He's on the bomb, but he's actually got cover behind first orange as Jason R is trying to move in. And Ruru stopped defusing, and he should have enough time to defuse this bomb now after he picks up the kill on a Jason R. Nicely done by Ruru, clutching it out for AGG and punishing Splyce for that decision to kill their own teammate earlier on in the round.
Whoops! But, again, I mean, Team AGG, they got an opportunity now to at least get 5 rounds. But, you know, Splyce, it's still a solid lead going into this second half for them, regardless of the outcome of this final round. But Team AGG putting a little bit of wind in their sails. So it's nice to see them recovering a little bit, even though it's really late in the half.
But the question now is, will it be enough to recover when we switch halves? And is Splyce going to run into those same problems on the CT side that we saw AGG run into here? Quick attempt to move into the A-bomb site. A 1-for-1 trade to start us off. And then Ocean peeking out from the smoke. Finds almost 3 kills. Picks up 2 and then dinks Jason R down to 11 HP. Now as he moves into the site here, we're going to see the plant coming in, and the guys from AGG are quick on the rotate this time. They've improved immensely from the way this half started off. Ruru's got a lot of utility to work with around here on porch side. Twist doesn't really have a whole lot, but he does get the position of one of these players. The flash rolls out, but Davey does not want to go for a peek onto him here. So Ruru's going to use this smoke to push himself forward by smoking out that position. In the meantime, though, this distraction is being used greatly as Twist is able to take down Jason R. He does jump up and give himself away, so Davey finds the first pickup. Now it's down to a 1 versus 1. Ruru running out of time, but he finds the kill again. And we're going to see AGG be able to clutch this out. Still plenty of time left to defuse that bomb. AGG will be bringing it up to 5-10 to close out the half.
And Ruru, I mean, on the Splyce side, it's Professor Chaos, 18 frags in that first half. Ruru with 17. But the impact of Ruru's, I mean, I feel like it was, what, 3, maybe 4 clutches that he had in that half? I mean, Jason R had that big 1v2 over at Banana from a foolish peek from Ocean, but this time around, it's Ruru going huge in the last couple of rounds, kind of keeping Splyce alive. Or, pardon me, AGG.
Yep, so the big hero performances from AGG, along with Splyce, getting a little bit cocky, in my opinion, kind of screwing them over towards the end of it there, especially the second to last round. Of course, if that had been a 4v2, I imagine that might have gone a different way, but it doesn't happen. And Splyce now actually end up losing a couple rounds because of that. Could have been looking at 12-3 instead of 10-5 now, which, if they win this pistol, basically would have meant GG at that point, assuming we didn't see any upsets in the anti-ecos.
Yeah, and actually looking at the statistics right now for the match, I mean, this is the list of clutches that has come out from the Splyce side. Professor Chaos has a 1v1 and 2 1v2s. Arya has a 1v2. Jason R and Davey both have 1v1s, and Abe has a 1v2.
Well,
So that is a ton of clutch rounds from the Splyce side. Meanwhile, on the AGG side, the only one that were recorded were the 2 1v1s from Ruru.
We kind of talked about it. It's essentially coming down a lot to just the ability that the guys on AGG are able to trade, but they're just not able to close out the rounds here. Splyce is winning the 1 versus 1 so consistently. So we never really saw Splyce with this super amazing economy. Maybe at like a middle point there through the way in the half, these guys were starting to build it up quite a bit. But at least in the beginning, when the rounds were a little bit closer, they were keeping things very tight. And because of that, AGG was just having trouble closing out those final 1 versus 1s. And the individual performances, of course, is where those issues tend to shine the most. So Splyce was able to lead through that, but they did drop the ball a little bit heading towards the end of the half. So they're not necessarily secure just as of yet with a 10-5 half. The second half, saying half a lot, should be getting started here at any moment. We're just waiting for the teams to ready up, and we should be able to jump into it. NA teams always take a very long time to ready up for their second half.
And as a reminder to you guys, you can always tune in tomorrow for more Pro League action, as well as Thursday night. And then this weekend on Saturday and Sunday are going to be 6-hour blocks of Pro League entertainment for you guys to partake in. So it's going to be a lot of pro matches coming at you guys for the rest of this week. So look forward to that. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. And don't forget to turn into the European streams as well. Like I said, I don't know if they're doing the 6-hour segment streams that we're doing here in North America. But if they are, they should be on, I would imagine, starting at around like that would be, trying to think about European time conversion. It's very hard. I think that would start actually at the same time, 6 p.m. CET. So I think it is now. It might have shifted to CEST by this point. We're in that awkward period of the year now where Europe's like an hour ahead or an hour behind us. But I think it'll be at that 6 p.m. marker, regardless of if it's CET or CEST. Is when they should start if they are doing it.
Yep. So we should be getting started here in the second half very, very soon. Not really sure what the delay is, but get this one rocking and rolling here very, very shortly for you guys, and then we'll bring you the second half of this final matchup of the evening between Splyce and AGG. Remember, AGG fell in the first map 16-12 on Dust 2. This time around, Splyce with a tremendous terrorist side showing, picking up 10 rounds. So if they pick up the pistol round, which I believe they've actually won one pistol round so far. Both of the pistol rounds went AGG's way on Dust 2. T-side pistol went to Splyce on Inferno.
Yep, and again, those big performances. This time, I think the most surprising thing, I need to pull up the stats. I don't have it in front of me right now, but it's actually been Professor Chaos in this map specifically that's been the shining star here for
he's
Splyce.
19-8 on the half.
So he's been a very big fragger here. We don't normally see that from him. He usually floats around the middle of the pack, not doing anything super impactful, but this game he's actually been incredibly on point with his fragging ability, so definitely been the key player here to pick up a lot of those rounds on T-side, especially when it came to the later rounds, I do believe. It wasn't necessarily too prominent on the entries, but when it came to closing things out, he was actually the man to look to quite a bit.
I just saw Prius having a little fun with the chicken cam there for a minute, so sad the chicken died. I'm really sad now.
How are you feeling?
I'm okay.
You good?
Yeah. It's fine because he found another chicken anyway. So, again, like we said, we're not really sure what the delay is on getting this one going. Just NA. You know,
if you give
when in doubt.
If you give NA players time to take a break, they will take it.
Yes,
they will take all of it. There we go. All right, we're finally going live. Let's get to it.
Alrighty, so now Splyce on the CT side. Professor Chaos, Abe, Davey, Ari, and Jason R against Invert, Ocean, Ruru, L's, and Twists. Blue, why don't you take us away here for this pistol round?
All right, let's get into things here and see if Splyce will be able to keep their lead going, or if the decisions which they did make towards the end of that last half are really going to end up biting them in the ass here now, especially if AGG will be able to bounce back and bring us up to like an 8-10 start in this half this time around. But Splyce going for a big stack towards the A-bomb site, and this does coalesce with the stack that AGG are trying to push towards an A hit as well. Most of their players moving over here towards A haven't gone in just as of yet, and Splyce are respecting this a little bit more now. They are starting to back up to play the site a little bit heavier. Jason R is spotted Invert going for his push there. He's dropped down to 86 HP. We see one hit connecting But now AGG are a little bit cautious. Look, they're falling back down middle now, and they might be changing this up to a B hit instead. But Ruru does find a kill on a Jason R, so they may be ready to reignite the A hit. However, cancel that now, as Davey has found a frag on Ruru.
Yeah, but it's just Ari at this B-bomb site to hold on, and he's got a molly. Beautifully positioned. They're not going to be able to push in. The cavalry's been called in. You can see 2 rotating in through CT spawn. The smokes come out as well. And this might just be time for them to abort on the T side and go back towards the A bomb site because there are so many CTs at B now. And you can see they are going to fall away. Davey's going to push for intel right now, and this is a smart play. He's going to find out that there's actually nobody outside there, so they're going to send everybody back over towards the A-bomb site. He's going to push down through Banana and try to get a fast flank on these players that are pushing in towards A. Abe taking a little bit of an aim duel. Professor Chaos in the site, and just gets locked down.
Professor Chaos and AIM just did some serious work there too, especially considering they were one of their players at least had to rotate in and they weren't really in good positions to try and hold that. That was an amazing hold, so greatly done by them. And AGG, unfortunately, their indecision on which site they actually wanted to go for really decided to hurt. So Splyce do get to keep their lead going here, at least for the first round heading into the second half. But of course, we will see AGG forcing it up. Tech 9, CZs, and P250s with armor behind it and 2 smokes as well. So we'll see what they're able to work with this. Davey, though, investing into the shotgun. So if there's going to be any apartment play, he should be able to dominate it.
That nade thrown out of the back of the B-bomb site actually did pretty decent damage onto those players at the bottom side of Banana. So they're going to get softened up a little bit here. I want to see Davey with this auto shotgun do some work, but it doesn't look like he's really going to get much of an opportunity as they are pushing in towards B. They did invest in the pretty much the force up here. They're going to drop out the smokes, and Abe is just had that crosshair position perfectly for that. Arya picks up 2 with the MP7. And there you go. Jason R with the nade kill. Abe cleans up the last one. No casualties here on the CT side. And that is a great omen moving forward. They should be able to pick up a 13-5 scoreline. That was a desperation strat from the terrorist side, trying to get that bomb plant to get an early buy on the board, but doesn't work out for them.
Yeah, with no plant now, we're going to see a very lackluster investment, and if they don't get it on this round just by rushing into the site and trying to overwhelm the CTs, then that's going to lead to a very, very lackluster first buy round for these guys on AGG2. They need to win that first buy round, otherwise things are going to get very rough. But the nade stack doing some work, destroys Ocean and brings Invert down to 62 HP. A repeat from one of the CTs also brings Rue down to 32 HP. Jason R is going to be able to finish off Els. A shotgun kill coming out from Davey to eliminate Invert, and finally Jason R and Professor Chaos pick up the final 2. Again, no casualties for Splyce at all. And now AGG get themselves into the first gun round, but might be missing quite a few key pieces, especially on the utility end of it. Take a look at it now. Most of these players are only able to afford smokes because they went for the force investment on the second round and have no plans to show for any of this in the first 3 rounds.
Davey actually sticking to the auto shotgun. Professor Chaos sticking to the MP9. And I like this. I like this call right here. Let Davey get up close and personal with that shotgun. He can definitely put in some work with that. And he might get an opportunity. A couple of them filtering over here towards the B-bombs, or pardon me, towards the alternate middle, or second mid, as the Euros like to call it. And if anybody pushes up into his crosshair, well, they might just get the nerd mower.
But AGG are just going to take things nice and slow because of how crucial this round is. Might actually be looking at a similar strategy later on that we were seeing a lot of from Splyce. Just these all-in hits on one of the sites to try and box him out and force the save. Splyce, though, with the SMGs and whatnot, they'll be able to hold back a high-pressure push much better than they would be if they had the rifles this time around. There's not really going to be any limiting factor on ammo and whatnot. They should be able to hold it back quite nicely. And for AGG, moving in, getting ready to get some apartments control going here at the very least. They'll be executing here on towards A in just a moment as they're setting up smokes now.
Yeah, and again, Davey in the bedroom. He's going to have a golden opportunity to pick up a kill or 2. And that's interesting. They threw out all the smokes. They're not committing to any of this farce just yet. You can see actually Professor Chaos over here on the porch side. He's going to drop out a flashbang, hold him back even longer. And there's no rotation off of the B-bomb site right now, so there's still stalwart in their defensive setup right now on the Splyce side.
They're going for B, though, now moving back towards it. 30 seconds up on the clock. They're not going to have a whole lot of time to make this hit work, and they've also still got utility on the CT side here, too. Abe's looking at a molly. The smoke rolls in, so the molly's going to come on the ground there, and there's double molly, so look at this. And also sitting up on top of first oranges, Abe and Arya. Arya, specifically the player on the orange box, just rips it to shreds. He does overexpose himself a little bit, so he gets taken down, but Abe finishes off the final 2 kills anyway. The first hit's a disaster for Mag, and unfortunately, this might just end up giving Splyce the match, because now they're going to be up at 14 rounds.
Yeah, and it's going to force the save here on the AG side. So, really tough position for him to be in. And again, we saw 16-12 in the first matchup. Team AGG was able to at least keep it running for a little while. It was 8-7 at the half, but this time around, I mean, just that mountain to climb, just too tremendous for him. They're going to be looking at match point here very soon.
So some early investigation being done mainly by Ruru now as he pushes himself. He's going to push through this smoke too, but unfortunately for him, everybody on Splyce that pushed out has fallen back. Actually, if Arya repeaks this, he might be able to catch him, and he does. Moving in for a second kill now, and he finds it. The BB bomb site's completely open, and these guys just rush right into it now. They've also still got some of their players tangled a little bit. This would have been so unfortunate for AGG if we saw that player going down with the Tech 9, as they would have essentially just run into the shotgun over here inside of the apartments with that push, but it's working out great beyond this. And now you're just down on Davey and J-Star. They don't really have a choice. They might have to fall back and go for the save.
Yeah, Davey, he's pushing up here into Boiler side. He was looking for something, maybe an alternate mid, but he decides better of it. And, yeah, I mean, this is the save call out of the Splyce side. Unless Jason R picks up 3 kills over here at B, which is highly unlikely. Davey will find Twist, takes him down. L's over here in the bottom side of mid as well. So he might be able to find a second kill. Oh,
Pop!
One tap! The leaf blower at work, boys. The leaf blower at work.
Getting money from that, too. And he just traded off for an M4, so... easy money.
Yeah, really nice upgrade from him. He's going to be sitting. I mean, look at how much money they have on the CT side. Arya's broke his joke, but 12,000 plus for Davey. He's gotten a couple of auto shotgun kills, which has put a lot of money in the bank for him. It'd be interesting to see him pick it up again, but he's just going to go onto the op. And, but let's not take anything away from Team AGG. That round was beautifully executed. Beautiful entries there from Ruru at the B bomb site, and just locks it down. So, I mean, they get those opening 2 picks, and that is just all she wrote for the round.
Much quicker push this time from AGG, moving up towards B as they want to try to punish any extra aggression that's being thrown up by the CTs. There's not going to be a whole load of it. It's Abe. He's pushed out from the site just a little bit, but he's in a very safe position, and he is able to fall back if Ruru decides to push through that smoke once again. Arya's also falling back to support if need be, and if it ends up being a rush, but not happening. As for the rest of these guys, Davey holding a position now on middle, and he's going to get aggressive. Now that he's tossed out of smoke, finds that first pick on the Ocean. A second one was also claimed by Professor Chaos, taking down Twist. So Splyce might be able to just retake immediate control of this matchup now by finding those 2 kills. The remaining 3 on AGG have to work together to make this hit successful on B. Otherwise, everything's going to be going to the dumps.
Yeah, and that spam coming out through the smoke. Oh, God. All right.
There it is.
Yep. Abe's going to be able to line up 2 of them. And L's going to be your last man standing. He's only managed to rack up a total of 4 kills in this matchup, so really tough spot for him. Probably not the guy that you want to have trying to clutch out a 1v5, and Abe is going to make sure that he gets absolutely nowhere. 3 kills on the round from Abe, 2 of them through smoke. Nicely done, and match point now for Splyce.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially, unless we see the Tech 9 doing some serious work here again, or just their entry work doing some serious pushing power for the AGG roster to get them on one of these sites. More than likely, Splyce would have complete control of this final round here. And also, even if they drop it again, we're still looking at a pretty generous amount of money on most of the remaining Splyce members here now. So, yeah, I think the only player that wouldn't have been able to afford his own rebuy would be Arya. However, there's that entry power that I was just talking about. Davey decided to get aggressive, and that's a big mistake because Invert shuts him down, and they get banana control for free. They also have to rotate over Abe very early, so it is going to split the defenses 2 and 2.
Yeah, but they got held back by their own Molotov over at B. Granted, they weren't pushing into the site just yet, but there are 3 terrorists outside of the site right now. It's going to be Invert to try to P. Flashbang goes out. Shoulder peek from Arya, trying to probe for information. But Invert able to find 1. Trying to trade out, but Arya's there. He's going to find 2 in the defense of that B bomb site, but they're kind of split up here on the CT side. 2 of them over at B, and the bomb is rotating back up through mid. So it's all going to be on Professor Chaos to lock this one down. And again, I mean, he's had a lot of impact in this matchup. He's had a couple of really nice clutch rounds. Remember, he had 2 1v2s and a 1v1, but they're going to choose to wrap this time around as opposed to going up towards the truck side. So he's not going to get a clear, clairvoyant line of sight on these players until they make their way around. But that's a big mistake. Jason R drops Ocean. That's the bomb down. Finally, Twist comes out from apartments and is able to trade that back, but we're down to a 2v2, and they have been spotted.
Smoke's going to roll in, but Jason R does have a nade to toss out. Unfortunately, it's off position. Arya trying to chase down Els, and he catches him just before he wraps the corner. Now Twist is trying to get aggressive. Jason R should be able to trace the shots. Twist found the kill into Arya, actually, so it's down to a 1 versus 1. But Twist at 5 HP. He's retrieved the bomb. He's not going for the plant, though, but he only has 15 seconds. If Jason R can dodge him for long enough, then he's just going to win this on a timer. But now that Jason R has moved out, he does think the Twist probably has gone to the bomb site. So Twist just has to move now. He has to chase down Jason R. 5 seconds left. He's gone the wrong way. The timer is going to run out, and the guys from Splyce are going to win it. 16-6 is going to be the final score. And now he's moving in for the knife kill there. Jason R is going to finish off Twists.
Insult to injury. So there you have it, guys. 16-5 going to be the final score for the final matchup of the evening. And Splyce are going to sweep Team AGG, and AGG falls to 0-6 on the season. They're yet to pick up a win, but well played to the Splyce boys. You know, Dust 2 looked a little bit shaky there, but that's not really one of the maps that they're known for. Their Inferno looks solid. We know that they're solid on cash. So they're going to at least go up to a 3-3 rating on the season. So we'll be looking forward to seeing more of these guys. I'm not sure which matchups we're going to be doing tomorrow night.
I've got them right here. Tomorrow night is going to be Optic Gaming versus Cloud9 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Winter Fox versus Luminosity. So be sure to tune in for those tomorrow night. And then Thursday, if anybody's curious on that, 1 second. That's going to be Luminosity versus Energy at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Energy versus Complexity. Energy's got a big night at 10 p.m.
4 matches for Energy that night, so that's going to be exciting to watch. And we get to see the Brazilians once again playing in the Pro League, seeing if they can do some work. That Optic versus Cloud9 matchup, doubleheader, should be a pretty good matchup there as well. So definitely look forward to that, guys, tomorrow night and Thursday night. And then Saturday, we've got 6 hours of action-packed CSGO for you guys as well. So we're going to go ahead and bid adieu for the evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night on the same channel, ESL_CSGO. And make sure that you can follow us on Twitter at MegamanTV and at BLUCSGO. You guys have a fantastic evening.